ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, guys, I'm taking a look at a Japanese animated movie from 2007. That movie is Kite Liberator. Yes, guys, this is the sequel to Kite, a movie I covered earlier this month that I really liked. And similar to the first one, Kite Liberator is on Netflix, so I actually get to watch this thing now. Now, I have been looking in a little bit into the plot, and as far as I can tell, this thing has almost nothing to do with the first Kite film outside of the primary story being about a teenager working as a hitman. That apparently is the only connection between Kite and Kite Liberator. Now there may be more, but I haven't found any other connections as I was looking up like summaries and what have you. Well, not even summaries, just basically like looking up exactly what the plot kind of is. So I can kind of assume that we are diving into a whole new story here, which is totally cool. I am at least hoping for it to be a fun film. After all, the first one was pretty good. But the only way I am going to find out if this thing is any good at all is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Kite Liberator. Alright. I never thought I would say this, guys, in one of these. That is probably the coolest way you could ever take care of a douchebag if you were working in a restaurant. That was fucking amazing. Okay, I kind of have to ask now. Okay, now. She's really, like, elegant with her kills, really awesome, but where exactly did she get the little black ball that kind of sort of bursts into a ton of feathers that just sort of float around? Where the hell did she get that? I'm really kind of curious, guys. It's sort of bugging me a little bit. Alright, guys, I'm just going to say this right now, and I never thought I'd say this about the sequel to Kite. Why the hell did they need to shoehorn in this, like, subplot involving a space monster that used to be her dad? Like, seriously, guys, it just feels unfucking necessary. And it really does sort of pull you out of the entire fucking film. It's really fucking odd. Well, guys, that was Kite Liberator. My God, what the fuck did I just watch? Alright, I'm sorry, guys, I'm kind of rendered speechless. That was really fucking weird. Holy shit. Okay, I'm going to start with writing. First of all, I want to say right now, I mentioned earlier about a space monster getting worked into this. I want this to be known. When I was looking up, like, plot fucking summaries and everything else, not a single fucking one mentioned the space monster plot, okay? Almost all of them just said that it's essentially Kite, except with a new killer. And I was all for that. I actually thought that Netflix had queued up the wrong fucking thing when the first 6 minutes were astronauts bitching about the taste of curry in space. And then that turned into a subplot, for fuck's sake. And then it becomes like the primary plot in the final act. The very fact, guys, that this thing's only 58 minutes long. And they had to shoehorn in a secondary plot involving, like, space food and radiation from the sun, screwing with people's bones and turning them into gigantic fuck-off space monsters, one of which comes back to Earth after the International Space Station explodes. I will cover a bit on the problems involving the International Space Station in just a moment. The very fact that they had to work all of that shit into a film about a teenager who kills people, it just doesn't feel right, guys. It seriously, guys, it'd be almost like if you tried to, like, stitch in footage from something like Alien into fucking like combat shock, okay? It doesn't work. It seems completely out of place. It seems completely fucking stupid. And yet that, guys, is what we were handed here. We were handed this oddball film which literally feels as if they tried to take two completely different films and like stitch them the fuck together. And honestly, guys, you could literally cut almost all of the fucking like space monster and space station bullshit, and you'd still have a story. You could cut all of that, and you'd still have a story. Granted, the story would only be like 25 minutes long, maybe 30 minutes at best. So I'm going to assume they threw all of this extra shit in to kind of sort of pad it out, but it's the weirdest way I've ever seen a film padded out. It really is. It's fucked up. And I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that the first film was just about, a teenage fucking hitman who has a gun who's got bullets that fucking, like explode after 5 seconds. And that leads into a sequel about someone wielding the same fucking gun, yet only uses the explosive bullets on a target that it doesn't work with. As she fights against a space monster that used to be her dad. It's really fucked up. It just feels so out. It feels so out of place. Now, beyond the weirdness of our, kite story and our really cheesy alien thing story, the writing is okay. Both stories would probably have been infinitely better if they were, two separate stories. However, I am going to say that if you do take them as two separate, stories, they actually are kind of strong. However, when you go and you Frankenstein them to fucking together, it sort of turns the whole film into a fucking mess. Now, our characters here are deep and everything, and the story, the stories are both, interesting, as I said, but still, when you stitch them both to fucking together, it doesn't work. My God, I am still floored, guys, by what I fucking saw, and I'm trying to talk about the goddamn thing. Okay, since I'm talking about writing, I'm going to discuss the shit involving the International Space Station. Because they were doing things there which, okay, I totally understand this film is a sci-fi movie. God damn it, it's a sequel to Kite. Why the fuck is it a sci-fi film? It just... Anyway, it's a sci-fi film, so we can't really work too much science in there. But god damn it, there's one thing that has to be stated. The International Space Station has concentrated oxygen, which is incredibly flammable. At least that is how real fucking science works. So why is it that at the fucking dinner table at the International Space Station, by the way, yes, they actually also have gravity there, and the station's much bigger than it is in real life. Why do they have lit, candles there? Wouldn't that sort of cause the whole place to kind of sort of go up? Also, why is it that the International Space Station police force, yes, there's also an ISS police force, don't ask, are willing to and have access to machine guns and bombs on the International Space Station? Why in fuck would they need sticky bombs? I swear to God, one of them pulls out a sticky bomb and they jam it onto the leg of one of these space monsters. Why the fuck would you have a sticky bomb on the International Space Station? What purpose would it serve? Then again, I'm also wondering why the fuck the ISS has a fucking police force, and they only have a police force for that one scene too. That's just the fucked up part. And then when the station kind of sort of explodes, the only two people who they fucking care about are dead are the two who turned into monsters. Apparently they are not going to inform the families of the ISS police force. Because fuck them. Yeah, guys, the writing here, Now, as much as I would like to say that the story kind of works, and it totally does, there are some massive holes here that really kind of sort of kill a ton of it, and almost all of them come from this hackneyed, shoehorned in sci-fi space alien plot, or well, alien. Well, they aren't aliens. Damn it! Like space monster plot thing. That honestly is like the one issue. Is just that that one plot, it causes so many problems, and it kind of renders this movie rather bad. Frankly, guys, I could probably continue to bitch about writing, but I'm not going to. I have other things I have to touch on. Now, while I could bitch about the writing and the weird fucking like tonal shift from the first film, the acting here is still really solid, and I am really, really digging the acting here. I mean, all of it is really good, and all of it is totally solid. So yeah, guys, the acting here is fantastic. Sound mix. Yes, guys, I do have to sort of touch on sound mix, because there were like one or two scenes where the music and the sound effects were completely drowning out the voices, which honestly, for me was not a bad thing, because I had to watch it subtitled, but still, if you speak Japanese and are not in need of subtitles, then those scenes are rendered almost completely inaudible for you, because they are drowning out the dialogue. As minor and as pointless as the fucking dialogue is, it is still being drowned out, and that is a problem. I just sort of thought I would touch on that. Mind you, though, once more, it seriously is only like one or two like instances of this, so it also is incredibly minor. But I still felt that it was worthy enough to mention. So, you just sort of take that for what you want to take it as. Anyway, continuing on with this. Art style here is still beautiful, because it's the exact same fantastic art, style that was seen in the first Kite film. And also the animation is really smooth too. One thing I kind of miss from the first Kite, which is completely missing from this, is the awesome jazzy score, and we don't have that here. And instead we get a rather bland, score, which really is just there to fill in, which is just there solely for background noise. And honestly, is not helping with tension or helping with tone or mood. None of it really sounds ultimately, great. It's just sort of there. So, again, that's just sort of something worth, kind of mentioning. Ultimately, guys, when all is said and done, am I able to recommend Kite Liberator? Oh my god. If you have a Netflix account, why not? But to purchase, if you're really into sci-fi and you don't mind some weird fucking story about a teenage hitman, or if you are into films about hitmen and you don't mind some goofy ass story about fucking like space monsters getting worked in, then by all means check it out. However, if you happen to think that trying to blend those two things together is ultimately stupid, or just sounds like a fucking mistake waiting to happen, then you're probably going to want to avoid this thing. Now, mind you, I honestly am happy I watched it, but because it tried to blend fucking genres when really it didn't need to, to me, guys, that really kind of sort of killed this. I mean, it seriously would have been a lot better if they would have just fleshed out the actual story about our main character, all right? Manaka did not need to fight her, like space monster father at the very end, because there shouldn't have been a fucking space monster. It just felt so out of place and weird, especially when compared to the first film. And this thing, guys, is just one of those oddball films that the only way I can possibly recommend it is if you have Netflix, because you're already paying for Netflix, so why not? And it is only 58 minutes long, which should tell you how thin the story itself kind of is when they have to shoehorn in a plot involving a space monster in order to reach the lofty runtime of 58 minutes. I'm okay, guys. I am totally sorry. There is no way I'm going to be able to talk about this thing more without continuing to bitch about that weird fucking like tone, or that weird fucking like genre blending thing here, which they tried to do and kind of failed at doing well. So anyway, guys, I am just gonna go find something else to watch. Seeing as on how I just watched some weird fucking thing with space monsters, I'm gonna go watch, I don't know, some fucking like sci-fi film. I was not expecting to watch a sci-fi movie when I jumped into this, and goddammit, that is what I was given, and it was really fucking odd. So I'm just gonna go watch another, like sci-fi film. I don't know what. There we go. Tron. I just saw Tron on my Blu-ray shelf. I'm gonna go watch that. Why not? Anyway, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.